All right, welcome to the offices of the Collegian, where me and Marcus Traxler are presently sitting. Obviously, we're going to give you our thoughts on the royal wedding that went on last night. I know it seems outrageous, but I'm obviously kidding.
Big hats.
Big hats. Yeah, with the. Well, yeah, I never saw what she looked like. Your thoughts?
Yeah, she looked all right.
Okay.
I thought she looked good.
All right.
As good as you can at a wedding.
Stop right there. That sums up the wedding observations on our behalf. I don't know anything about it. We really should get down to business.
The wedding was this morning, by the way.
We got our advisor shouting that the wedding was this morning. Thanks for the clarification.
Welcome.
Moving on, we should probably talk SDSU sports, considering that's what we cover. Do our job. We'll talk about baseball first. Now they got a big series with Oakland coming in, and again that team is just on fire. Well, not on fire, but they're playing extremely well.
Yep.
With the win with Minnesota, anytime you beat a program with the prestige of Minnesota, now they're kind of a middle of the road Big Ten squad as far as baseball goes. That's a big win, and I think the question really becomes at this point: can that team make a super regional? Can they beat Oral Roberts and kind of get into that tournament with the College World Series? Not actually make it, but be in contention. You think you think that could be a time, like this is a year where that can actually happen?
Well, I think what they have right now is they have their whole lineup is producing. Against Minnesota, they had the bottom three hitters really come through, and I think that's what you need if you're going to make it. Out of the regionals at the NCAA tournament and make it to the super regionals. I think that's something that they'll have to continue to do. And their pitching has been pretty solid so far. And you've got Blake Trinan. And I think if they have the rest of the pitching staff come through, you get into that short set in the postseason, you could be okay.
Yeah, and again, I have to bring up Trevor Vermillion, who had two rough outings at the way beginning of the year, and since then has been absolutely lights out.
Yep.
I mean, no earned runs, I don't think, for the past 17, 18 innings.
Yeah.
Awfully impressive. And going back to the Minnesota game, that's where they had the senior day, and you look at that foursome of seniors with Billy Stitz, Joel Blake, Jesse Sawyer, Trevor Vermillion. I mean, there's 4 all-conference players right there, and guys who have shots at playing professional ball. So they have a great chance. I think this is the year where they really can take down Oral Roberts. So, boy, softball. Again, the struggles continue. Your thoughts on that team kind of right now, obviously struggling. I mean, do they look like they're still motivated going through the year that they've had? It's kind of reminds me of wrestling in some ways, kind of with the struggles and the stuff that's going on there.
I think they have to avoid going through the motions, but it seems like they've played two ways so far. Mm-hmm. Either they stay in it and they're within like a run, and it's a 1-0 or 2-0 game, and they lose, or they just get blown out.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of not great to see for morale's sake. Mm-hmm. But I think they'll play some Summit League teams. Maybe they can get some wins back. But they ran into a buzzsaw last weekend at North Dakota State, and Whitney Johnson just shut them down. Mm-hmm. And then you go down to Nebraska and you play a top 15 ranked team and play well with them for one game and then just get blown out in the other one.
Yeah, it'll be important. Those are all good points. It'll be important for them to find some encouragement at the end of this year to maybe take to next year to get you motivated to get better for next year, because they give up a lot of walks. It's a team that has a lot to improve.
And their pitching is primarily young, but
it's true. Yeah,
they're struggling.
They are. Let's talk NFL draft and bring it local to SDSU. From the sounds of it, from the labor talks, it sounds like they'll be able to sign non-drafted free agents.
No, it sounds like that. It's so back and forth. You don't know right now, but I think if the lockout can hold off, that only helps SDSU guys.
It does, and it sounds like there's a decent shot that they could have 3 guys get into camps with Cole Brody, Derek Domino, Colin Cochard. Don't forget about Kyle Manette too, and down the line they have. What's really impressive to have 3 guys make camps with the season that they had and at the level that they play at. So I hate to bring it up, but I mean it's a long shot. But of those guys, who do you think maybe has the most likelihood? I would say Coachart with his size and ability to block and also to catch passes And I think tight ends, catching multi-talented tight ends, I think are a growing commodity in the NFL. I would say Kochard has a shot. It's a long shot, but has a shot.
Yeah, I was going to say Kochard is probably in a good spot because blocking tight ends don't go out of style in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I think he'll be okay, and he's a good receiver. I think the good thing for Cole Brody is he's impressed people who have seen him so far, and I think that is certainly helpful. He's got a couple teams interested in there. That can only help.
And it's good for a football program to get guys in pro camps. I think it shows well. I think for incoming recruits, like you can develop into a pro style type player. I think that
and especially considering they finished 5 and 6 last season, you have a chance of getting 3 guys into camp this fall.
It shows, and it just shows that things can go wrong even if you have the talent. And that's kind of what 2010 was. Christian Ponder, go.
Well, a reach, perhaps. I don't know, but time will tell, and I think it's certainly an interesting pick.
Doesn't mean, even though it was a reach, doesn't mean he's a bust or he's not going to develop, or he could very well be a very good quarterback.
I've heard him compared to Matt Hasselbeck. I've heard him compared to Elvis Gerbach. So there's 2 ends of the spectrum right there.
Is he going to be Elvis? Is he going to be Hasselbeck? We'll wait and see with him. But it's Minnesota. It's Minnesota sports for you.
It is. Yeah.
That's all we have. Baseball this weekend. Maybe I'll get to a game. Finals week. Good luck, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.